بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد. My brothers and sisters, today's khutbah, the topic is marriage in Islam. Marriage is one of the most beautiful experiences of human life. It's also one of the most complicated ones, and it can become one of the worst experiences of human life. A marriage home can be heaven on earth, or it can be a living hell. The good news is that you, meaning the two people who are married, the husband and wife, you are solely and wholly responsible for whether it is a heaven on earth or a living hell. So let's see what Islam teaches us about marriage. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in His blessed book, Al-Quran Al-Kareem, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, which means, and among His signs is this: He creates for you mates out of your own kind, so that you may find contentment, which is sukoon, with them. He engenders, He creates love and affection and tenderness between you. In this, there are signs, messages indeed for people who reflect, who think. As I'm sure you are aware, most of you, that in Islam, marriage is a legal contract. It is a contract between two people in the presence of witnesses, the best of whom is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself. And to Him, the ones making the contract will be accountable. It is therefore essential that they understand, the two people in the marriage, it is essential that they understand what they are contracting to do. Those who are already married, it is important for you to think about what did you contract to do. And if you find that you are falling short, then this is the time to make up and make sure that you do not fall short. The issue with contract is that once you enter into a contract, you are accountable and you are punishable if you do not fulfill that contract. I recited before you an ayah from the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the institution of marriage and mentions specifically three special features that He blessed it with. He used three words in this ayah. The first word is sukoon, the second word is mawadda, and the third word is rahmah. The first word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used is sukoon. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. And among His signs is this, that He creates for you mates out of your own kind, so that you may find sukoon with them. Sukoon is a word that we commonly use in Urdu as well. So I'm sure all my friends who understand Urdu know its meaning. In Arabic, in the language, in the diacritical marks, which are symbols added to letters to modify their pronunciation or meaning, which we know as Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra. In Urdu it is Zabar, Zer, Pesh. These diacritical marks, which are on top or below the letter, they indicate how that letter is to be pronounced. And these are called haraka. Again, the word in Urdu, harkat, means to move. In Arabic also, haraka is movement. So this shows how the letter moves when it is pronounced. Does it say a, e, or u? Arabic is a language where even a minor difference in pronunciation can change the meaning of the word. When that happens with respect to the Quran, in Salah, it can become a major problem. Sukoon is the opposite of haraka. Sukoon is the opposite of movement. When there is a sukoon on the letter, it means that the letter remains as it is and does not move in pronunciation and will be pronounced in its original form. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the term sukoon as the first purpose of the marriage. He said that He creates mates for us so that we may find sukoon with them, so that we may find contentment and tranquility with them. The first condition of the contract is that the spouses are promising to each other that they will henceforth lead their lives in such a way that they will make their companionship, their home, their being together, their support for one another, a source of contentment and sukoon for each other. They are making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a witness from whom nothing is hidden, that henceforth they will not look elsewhere other than towards each other for all the requirements of marriage. That their eyes, their ears, their hearts, their hands, their feet will not stray away from their spouse. That there will be no haraka, no movement away from the spouse. That is the meaning of faithfulness, and fidelity, and loyalty, and devotion to one another in marriage. A marriage relationship that is devoid of these qualities is not a marriage, but also it is not even a relationship. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give all those who are here in this gathering and all those who are listening or who will listen to this khutbah sukoon with their spouses. It is never too late to start a new page in your life. It's a sign of emotional maturity, and it is a sign of taqwa, of being conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and wanting to please Him in all that we say and do. Marriage also means that both spouses will try to create a home which is a place of sukoon, which they look forward to returning every day. The home must be like a harbor into which the ship, which has sailed the high seas and braved storms and withstood the battering of waves and winds, finally reaches safety. How would it be if instead of safety, tranquility, healing, comfort and consolation, the ship meets a storm which has not only been brewing but is custom made for this particular ship? A storm that knows all the weaknesses of the ship, because in the harbor all defenses are down, all shields are lowered, all weapons are sheathed. If that is not happening, if the weapon must remain drawn, if the shield must still be raised, if the eyes are darting in every direction trying to detect threats, and if the ears are listening for sounds of alarm, then what kind of sanctuary is that? That is a wolf den. It's a lion's cave, not a safe harbor for a ship, and certainly not a family home. Let us ask ourselves what we have in our marriage. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended for us to have peace and harmony and mutual respect. It is for us to protect it if we have it, and to bring it back or create it if we have lost it. That is what sukoon means in a Muslim marriage. The second word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used in this ayah is al-mawaddah, where He said, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً, and He puts love between you. This refers to the love that the spouses have for one another. This love is both physical and emotional. Love is an outcome of respect. We cannot love someone for whom we feel no respect. It is essential, therefore, for the spouses to pay attention to the good from each other and to forgive mistakes. The spouses are like mirrors to each other. They reflect what they see, but they must be mirrors with selective memory. Think about a mirror. When you stand before a mirror, if it's a good mirror, if it's not broken, if it's not one of those circus mirrors which distorts images and makes you look fat or thin or tall or short, if it's a good quality, high quality mirror, what does it do? Number one, it reflects you as you are. It does not exaggerate. Number two, as soon as you move away from the mirror, the picture in the mirror disappears. Somebody else comes before the mirror will reflect that person. The mirror will not tell that person about you. This is what I mean about when I say selective memory. Remember the good, forgive the mistakes. Write the good from your spouse in stone and write their mistakes in the dust and in the sand. One memory remains lifelong, while the other is blown away by the first breeze that comes along. I believe this is the single most important secret of a good marriage. To have the selective memory for good and amnesia for bad. Learn the lesson, but forgive the action. Unfortunately, many people have the opposite attitude of stockpiling all the evil and forgetting the good, taking the good for granted, which is the root cause of all problems. They take the good for granted as their right, while any mistake is seen as a premeditated crime to be remembered and kept and treated accordingly. Islam advises the opposite, to forgive not once, but 70 times every day, without reservation. For the spouse, the companion must be their best friend, not some outsider who is made privy to secrets and whose advice is sought in the dead of the night or from password-protected screens about how to deal with the one who should have been the closest confidant. It is strange how the illogicality of password protection is in a relationship that embodies trust is not glaringly obvious. When there is trust, there is no need for secret passwords. The marriage is a contract where the spouses are undertaking to make each other their best friends from this day on. It is important to remember, however, that friendship is only as good as the amount of investment you make in it. It's not magic, it's not automatic, it does not happen, it is made consciously, with effort, and the results are directly proportionate to the investment. It is necessary to spend time with your spouse and not with other friends in some club. It is necessary to develop common interests. It is necessary to take pleasure in each other's work and activity. It is necessary to support each other in all that is good. It is necessary to ensure that you give feedback with care and concern and never in public. It is essential to remember that between spouses there are no defenses because there is trust. And for that reason, it is essential for the spouses to exercise special care in dealing with each other's emotions. It is necessary to build a language together, a language of looks and words and signs, a language that over time becomes almost magical in how it enables one spouse to know what the other is feeling without explanation. A language which is a joy to see when you look at those who have been happily married for many years. It is necessary to consciously remember the good that your spouse does for you, especially when they are having a bad day and are acting strange. This is the love that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about when He says that He has put it between the spouses. It is there, but sometimes it is buried beneath cultural norms, stereotypes, prejudice, emotional immaturity or insecurity, and must be dug out like one digs out buried treasure. Effort must be made for results. I advise couples to do what my wife and I did in the initial years of our marriage. We used to have an A4 size notebook on a table in a place where we passed by many times a day. In that we would write about what we appreciated in each other. Some words, some actions, some gift, but only positive things. When we read what each of us had written, we would write a little comment, draw a picture, press a flower, or anything like that, to show that the comment had been read and was appreciated. Don't try to do this with screens. Right. If there was anything critical to be said, we agreed that it must be spoken face to face, or not at all. I recommend that if it is to be spoken, it must be preceded by praying tahajjud that morning and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His help. This must be followed by introspecting on all the times when one may have done or said something similar or worse, and seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. Naturally, if you didn't seek the forgiveness of your spouse, you must do that right away, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive a transgression against a person until that person forgives it first. If the matter survives all this, then it may be mentioned face to face. There is an etiquette about how to do that. But in the interest of brevity, I will not mention it here. But remember that there is an etiquette of how to confront somebody with something negative face to face. The last word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used in the ayah is rahmah, mercy. When He said, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Rahmah is a special quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself. It is the mercy that He shows to His creatures even when they don't deserve it. Rahmah or mercy is the foundation of forgiveness. When you forgive, it means that injustice had been done to you. It was done to you. And while you had the choice to demand justice and extract retribution and revenge and expect compensation, you chose not to do any of that, and you forgave the person. It is something of such high honor that it is an attribute of the one who is all-powerful and can take revenge and punish, but chooses not to do so. We ask Him for His mercy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used this word to describe the relationship between the spouses in the marriage. We are merciful to those who we feel responsible for. We are merciful to our own children, whereas we may not exercise the same mercy for other children. When you are the teacher in a school, others' children become your wards, and you are merciful to them. The word rahmah in the context of marriage draws our attention to the responsibility that spouses have for one another. It also draws attention to the fact that over the years, each spouse has made a lifetime of investment in the other. To show rahmah, to be merciful, is to honor that investment and to thank the other for making it, not to take this for granted. Rahmah is also the quality when, for reasons of life and destiny, one of the spouses is unable to look after the other or to satisfy them. The other still treats him or her with love and respect and mercy. Rahmah is to give without asking for return, to give because the greatest pleasure lies in giving itself. Marriage in Islam is therefore a commitment made to each other of integrity, fidelity, love, respect, and mercy. The spouses are making this promise to each other in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is witness to all our thoughts and intentions and actions. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the qualities to make our marriages the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended for us. That will happen only when we understand that it doesn't just happen. You must make it. It is in your hands. It is your life. Make it as happy as you wish. وصلى الله على نبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.